Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and introduce you to week 13, which is November the 10th through the 16th. We're making plans and giving directions. You're going to want to review pages 25 to 30, 40 to 46, 58 to 56, 92 to 107 for your test. After completing the assignments for this week, you should be able to use adjectives and adjective agreement rules, article-noun agreement rules, and regular present tense verbs, as well as nationality vocabulary to write a brief autobiography. This week's assignments address student learning outcomes 1, 2, and 5. The due date for your assignments for this week is the 14th. There are no instructor videos for this week, so you just want to open up the class participation forum, click on the thread, hit reply, and post any questions or concerns you have about information covered in class thus far. Then we're going to take a test this week on chapter 3. If you are in a Tuesday, Thursday class, we'll be taking this test on the 14th. If you are in a Monday, Wednesday, Friday class, we're going to be taking the test on the 15th. So we'll go ahead and look at the test. The first section is situaciones. You're going to hear various situations, like someone saying, maybe someone would be told they're 5 years old, and then you would look at the tener expressions. You'd be looking for, no, not that one. Let's see. So maybe somebody says something about they just ran a race, or it's really hot outside, and you'd be looking for the tener expression that would be like they're thirsty. You'd be looking for tener sed. So you're gonna listen to well, I'm gonna read it in class. I'll read to you various situations, then you'll pick the tener expression that describes what's going on, what best describes what's happening. Then it says que materia match each academic subject with the associated concept, person, or thing. So you have like un mapa, una computadora, and then you're gonna want to match. These are things that would be studied in these classes, and so you just want to match the class or the subject with the person, thing, or concept that would be studied in that classroom. Then we have las matemáticas. Choose the phrase that accurately expresses each math problem. So you have the math problem written out in numerical form, so find the standard the word form in Spanish that matches the standard form. Then if you go down here, ¿qué número es? This time, so you're going to be working the reverse. This time you're given the words in, you're given the numbers in Spanish. You write them out as numbers in standard form. Then here we have los adjetivos posesivos. Your Spanish tutor wrote a number of sentences to quiz you on correct usage of the possessive adjectives. Choose the possessive adjective that correctly or accurately completes each sentence. So read the sentence and then pick the possessive adjective that would best complete the sentence. Then here, de quién es. Complete each sentence with the correct possessive adjective. The possessor will be the same as the subject of the sentence. So if it's we have, and then it says a book, then you would want to say we have our book. And if it says I, and it's a book, then you want to say I have my book. So you just want to match whoever the subject is of the sentence, that's who owns the item that you're describing with a possessive adjective. So then it says, usamos las expresiones con tener. Read the following sentences carefully, then use the same subject in an expression with tener to complete the situation. So remember, we have all those things like tener hambre, tener frío, tener sed, different tener expressions to explain how you feel. So you'll use the same subject. So this one's talking about Julio, so you're going to say Julio. Then you need to have the spelling of tener that matches Julio. And then what is he feeling if he's going to a restaurant? What tener expression would work best with him? And here it says, ¿En qué parte de la universidad? Complete each of the sentences with the most logical phrase. So just this describes something that you would do on the college campus, and these are the various places. So match the place with what you would do. And here it says, ¿Dónde está? Your classmate wants to see how well you know the location of buildings. How well you know the location of buildings on the university campus. Based on the picture below, decide whether each of the following statements are cierto or falso. So this is just describing where these buildings are. And if the statement is true, if what they say here matches what you see in the picture, you circle cierto. If it doesn't, circle falso. Then here, ¿a dónde vamos y qué hacemos? Your friend has asked you a number of questions. Answer them by matching each question to its logical answer. So here's all the questions and here are all the possible answers. Completamos las frases. Get to know Jose Luis, a new international student at your university, by completing the paragraph with the appropriate forms of ir or hacer. So remember, ir means to go and hacer to do or make. So read these sentences and decide if it needs hacer or ir to complete it, and then write it in the blank in the correct spelling. Remember, we changed the spelling to reflect who it is that's doing the going or the making or the doing. But remember, if the verb is following a verb that's already been conjugated, it's a helping verb scenario, and you won't need to conjugate. Ir or hacer, the verb that you're plugging. You'll leave it in its infinitive form. Here it says frases lógicas. Last night you wrote some great practice sentences for Spanish class on index cards. However, your mischievous little brother thought it would be funny to cut off the last part of each sentence. Find the phrase that completes each sentence. So you wrote these sentences, and then here are the phrases that would complete them. So match them up. And then here's ser o estar. Complete the following sentences with the correct form of ser or estar or the verb I. Remember, I means there is, there are in the sentences below. Como sabe usted? Complete each of the following sentences with the most logical word or phrase from the word bank. So you just read the sentences and then pick the word that would best complete it. And then the last is vocabulary again, las actividades y los edificios. So these are things that you would be doing on the college campus. These are the various buildings. So match the activity with the building in which you would be doing it. And that's everything you have to do for the test. You also have writing assignment 2, which you're going to be getting. You're going to open up the assignment. It says, last week you forgot to do your homework for Spanish class. In order to help keep track of everything, write a detailed description of the things you need to do next week. Use phrases such as tener que, necesitar, or ir a to describe the things you have to do or are going to do. Include information such as your class schedule, your work schedule, any plans with friends or leisure activities, any other activities that you do on a regular basis, like going to the gym, studying, etc. So when you're ready, you'll hit start preparing your submission. You'll write all of this in Spanish. Remember, then it's going to come to me. Actually, the next week it will go to a fellow student in the class who will critique it, and I will critique it as well. And then the week after that, you'll see the critiqued parts and you'll be able to write your final draft. And that's everything that you have to do for week 13.